Hey guys, we're going to be covering multiplying surds in this session. Let's get started. Here's a couple of general rules that'll help you out with your multiplying of surds. For example, if you have square root of p times square root of q, it equals, it's the same thing as saying square root of p q inside the square root symbol. And likewise, if you do division, where you have square root of p divided by square root of q, this is the same thing as saying square root of p divided by q. Okay, moving on to some quick examples. So here we have two examples, square root of 2 times square root of 3, and square root of 10 divided by square root of 2. So the first one I'm going to do is this one on the left hand side. This is nice and simple. Square root of 2 times 3 is 6. So this one would be square root of 6. And then on the right hand side, you've got square root of 10 divided by 2, which equals square root of 5. And we're done with this examples. Okay, getting a little bit more complicated with the examples. Well, not so complicated really, but simplifying 3 square root of 5 times square root of 8. Okay. So what we need to do in this case, we could actually do it in two ways, but I'm going to do it the first method here, which is 3 square root of 5 multiplied by, now 8 can be written as 4 times 2, and so this would equal 3 square root of 5 multiplied by 2 square root of 2. And going further with this, I would get 6 square root of 5 times 2, which then equals 6 square root of 10. Now, I could have done it the other way, which is, hold on, let me just move things around here. The other way would have been where I could have done this, 3 multiplied by, well, not 3 multiplied, 3 multiplied by 5 times 8, which would make it 3 square root of 40. Then I would actually have to rearrange things, because I would get 3 square root of 4 times 10, which would make it 3 times 2 times square root of 10, which equals 6 square root of 10. As you can see, whichever method you go, you will still simplify to the same answer. Alright, on to the next example. This is almost similar to expanding brackets, except this time we're dealing with square root symbols. So the first thing I'm going to do is square root of 3 times square root of 5, and minus square root of 3, well, times 1 would actually give it, it's just square root of 3. Simplifying this, I'm going to get square root of 15, take away square root of 3. Now, unfortunately, I can't do anything more with these two terms. I mean, this is where it gets stopped. Okay, next example. In this case, I'd like to simplify square root of 5, take away square root of 3, whole squared. One of the common mistakes people do is where they don't think of this as two brackets. So it's better to write it out first. So I'd write it out as square root of 5 minus square root of 3 times by square root of 5 minus square root of 3. And this is where we go back to our, I guess you would have many ways of doing this for a quadratic. I like using this one here, where I multiply these two terms first, which is square root of 5 times square root of 5. Next, I'm going to look at these two terms. So it'll be take away square root of 5 times square root of 3. Then I'm looking at the pink line here, which is square root of 3 times square root of 5. And finally, the last, which is negative square root of 3 times negative square root of 3. So simplifying this further, I would get square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. These ones, they're going to be negative square root of 15. And the pink one is also going to be negative square root of 15. And negative square root of 3 times negative square root of 3 will become positive 3. So simplifying this, I would get it as 8 minus 2 square root of 15. Okay guys, that's some of the basic ideas of multiplying surds. Thanks for watching.